Good evening. I'm gonna close the door.
Yeah. All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hello, Melissa. How you guys doing?
Hey, Michael. Okay, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We're getting going here. We were just having a quick meeting before.
Okay.
We get fired up here.
We're ready to go at 6:01.
All right. Is there anybody else who's in the village hall?
It's just us two, but there's some folks here for some Parks and Rec stuff, but there's just the two of us for this meeting.
Okay. Hey, Michael, just a heads up. I've got a hard stop tonight at 7 o'clock because I actually am double booked and I've got to hop to a different meeting at 7. So I just wanted to let you know that. And I'm
Okay.
sorry in advance for that.
Sounds good. Okay, I am going to call the November 20th of 2024 Sustainability Committee meeting to order. We'll go roll call vote.
Melissa Gavin,
Here.
Steve Douglas,
Here.
and Trustee Pomakowski.
Here. And Aaron Lyons is absent, and John Brandt, I don't think he's a member anymore, but he's absent also.
Mhm.
So we'll do
We got
that.
it recorded.
Okay, any public comments? Do not see anyone online? Doesn't look like it. Okay. General business, we have committee member report outs and updates. Excuse me, anyone have anything?
Michael, I've not been able to secure somebody from the developer that I reached out, so I just want to let you know that I bumped that up, but I haven't heard back. But I have invited I asked somebody at Clean Wisconsin who works on building electrification and has been involved with the Slipstream and the city of Middleton and their effort to kind of figure out what municipalities can do on building electrification, and asked if his their name is Tom, if they'd be willing to join a committee meeting at some point, and Tom's open to that. So that's what I've got to report out on that.
Okay. Okay, that sounds great. So he'd be open to coming in and giving a short speech or something, or?
Yeah, kind of a presentation about at least what what Middleton is working on with Slipstream. On our last sustainability committee meeting, you had referenced the notes from the Middleton Sustainability Committee and that they were working with Slipstream. And Tom could speak a little bit to the work that they're doing there, and we might be able to then kind of somehow stay apprised of the work that they're doing so that we can try to copy some of their efforts.
Okay. That sounds great. Yeah, I was reading some of their packet the other day, the Middleton one, and it was just more discussion sort of along those lines. Okay, anything else?
Not for me.
Okay. Hearing nothing from Steve, I will ask for a discussion and possible approval of the September 11th, 2024 sustainability meeting minutes.
Steve motions to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. Okay, we have discussion of possible action on no May and the website update. Do you wanna take this, Steve?
Sure I can. Let me see if I can find my my document, or maybe it's in
I'll
the
try to
packet.
pull it up, Steve, and share
Okay,
it.
that'd be great. Yeah, I just I know I'd circulated something around. One of my to-dos was just to sort of look and see what's the latest on, the no May thinking. And I did pull together some references there. It does seem that the enthusiasm has quelled a little bit. I don't think there's anything, nobody's coming out and saying it's wrong. But there is a lot of discussion about how the concept could be refined a little more, such as, not focusing on just 1 month a year, encouraging people to plant, native and sustainable, um, you know, uh, bushes, ground coverings, et cetera, that also support pollinators. So taking sort of a little more broad look at it. And my thought was, I think it's worth, um, in addition to the NOMOME information that we have online and links and such like that, if people want to do it, great. But just beefing it up and adding this sort of, hey, here's the latest, maybe you want to think sort of beyond NOMOME. So that's kind of the
Yeah.
gist of it. It doesn't help that the Lawrence, there's sort of the seminal paper that came out supporting all this from Lawrence University had to be withdrawn
Oh,
um,
God.
due to there was they discovered some issues with how some of the data were put together. There was, I think, enough questions. For instance, one of the species of bees that was reported in the numbers of them apparently aren't even in this vicinity or weren't in the vicinity of a region of that study. And so,
Mm.
it's like, well, that's not real encouraging. But it wasn't that, oh, this whole thing was made up and it's flawed. I think it was more along the lines of they probably overreached with the data somewhat. Um, so, so that, and it was a very interesting research project they did. That was up in Oshkosh. Can't remember the guy's name from Lawrence University that did it, but I think it's probably generally still pretty, the information in there is probably still, pretty useful. But, I just think as times change and we learn more, it's kind of our responsibility to like listen to science and be willing to change and update our perspective. So, thoughts?
That makes sense to me, Steve. I looked at some of this research that you shared, and the only hesitancy that I have is I don't have a high level of trust for Chat GPT because there have been even times when AI has fabricated references, even when it cited things. And so my only concern is making sure that we're taking it from trusted sources. But you've got a lot of references, so I feel pretty confident that we can do that. And I think it's a great idea to update what we've got on our website to reference the most up-to-date science. I haven't looked at the website recently. Is it like, are we talking about like how much of an overhaul and how would we go about just drafting the updates?
Maybe we could pull that reference up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to pull up the website here.
Yeah, good perspective, Melissa. I would definitely do not want to take it hook, line, and sinker what Chat GPT or Merlin or anybody comes up with for sure. That's why I did follow the references, and they did seem to be pretty good, pretty solid. And I did like the sort of the alternative perspective.
Awesome.
All right, I did pull it up here, the website.
Yeah, it basically just kind of talks about the bee stuff, which I probably think all this is probably still pretty good.
Carly, do you think you
Are
could
you
right now?
sharing?
Yeah, could you screen right now? What we're seeing is the resources that Steve shared. Can you screen share the website?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. I have to change the.
Yeah, I bet it's just asked which application you wanted to share, and maybe that's why. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically saying participate in no-mow or low mow, grow native plants. But even mowing your lawn in half is also can help pollinators. I'm not really sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I don't think a lot of this is wrong, right? I guess the question I have is, what is, even with the update on the website, but what is the policy that we want to drive from here? I mean, do we still want to be suspending enforcement of section 2408 that limits the height of lawns or grasses? Or, I mean, do we want to give people the option not to cut their yard until June 1st of said year, like how we've done in years past? I guess that's the main question.
Yeah.
Trying to dissuade people from just letting their yard go and get, a foot tall, because Steve, you've spoken about how difficult that is on the yard to recover when you mow it and et cetera and et cetera. Are we trying to more push a low mow may, or what are we wanting to do? I guess that's the that's the idea or the question, because we're gonna have to figure out if we're gonna want to suspend this section, because that's gonna be coming up pretty quick, like in terms of board wise, in terms of, getting that through. It'd probably be, I think last year we got it through, I don't know, it might have been the May meeting, and so there wasn't a whole lot of advertising for it, or, I'm just trying to.
Yeah.
We don't have to get this approved by the board again, though, do we? I thought we had that permanently.
Yeah, do you need, because it looks like there was a resolution that was passed in 23,
No, it's an every year thing.
and so it's a new resolution every year.
Every year, it isn't a permanent thing, Steve. Last year because last year I just updated the resolution from the year before. Bobby sent it to me and I just changed the dates to be for 2024. It isn't a permanent ordinance, it's a resolution of suspension every year.
Unless you wanted to create an ordinance,
Well,
then you
right.
wouldn't have to do it every year.
So it sounds like there's two approaches, and they're not mutually exclusive, that I'm wondering about. One is, yes, again, suspend the ordinance or the enforcement of the section 2408, and or, change the ordinance so that we always allow it. But there's the policy piece, and then there's the piece that I think Steve is bringing, which is just updating the website with up-to-date information to say, no, maybe the title should be no mow or low mow may, just kind of even elevating that in the title. And then a few more bits of information that Steve shared with hyperlink to more to some of that research. Maybe that's what we do for the education component, and then for the policy component, it seems like there's no harm in suspending that ordinance, right? Like that's not a problem. If people want to not mow their lawn, that's not creating problems. Is that still true, Steve?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think we have heard of any problems.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have created any problems. I will have to say, if this was the first time we were coming before the board and we didn't have any precedents at all, I would feel a little less forceful about passing it, I guess. It seems like the rationale is a little less strong now.
Yeah.
But it's also not wrong. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
having the option seems to make sense. The only negative thing out of those references that I saw, well, two things. One, Michael, was it could be hard on your equipment. The other one alluded to the fact it could promote like ticks and, mice or whatever, but there wasn't any like data behind that. It just said, this could possibly happen. It wasn't like, oh, we observed in this town that, we saw all these mice or rats or whatever. Yeah, everybody's got Lyme disease now. I mean, it was just sort of a hypothetical. Oh, with longer grass, stuff can hide in it. Well, okay, I guess that's true, but it's nothing to base an ordinance on. at this point, unless someone, we get better data, and I'm again totally willing to revisit it.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a twofold thing. One is updating the policy so that we can allow it or allow people to not mow their lawn or, suspend the enforcement. And then it's updating the website for more up-to-date information.
And I like your change in the title there, Melissa. And maybe it's NOMO or LOMO question mark.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that.
Well,
Something
well,
along.
yeah, that's sort of like what I was thinking. Also, like the resolution can go, people can decide whether we do NOMO or LOMO. But on the part of our education is the NOMO or LOMO may. And I guess the question is which one do we want to encourage one over the other? Do we think people should do a LOMO or do the NOMO? Or are we just gonna let them decide, we're gonna just put information out on the website?
I kind of liked, and I would have to go back through the references, but essentially the one that alluded to, hey, you can do more good by looking more long term. This is
Right.
a nice idea, and I could find that one, and that seems to me to be a better, bigger system sort of intervention. If people are thinking, hey, what can I do long term that's sustainable that also serves this mission?
Right, yeah, definitely. There's one thing that talks about registered residents increasing their mowing heights and decreasing the mowing frequency, just to provide food for bees all season rather than just for one summer. It encourages planting of flowers that'll bloom all summer in yards. Like, it's more than just, don't focus on 1 month, but it should almost be like, how can we help the bees rather than no mow May?
Yeah,
Or,
and I do think it's that Fizz org, the second and third, I think they might be the same reference, but I think that's the one that mentions about being more a little more diverse in our approach.
That'd be interesting. So then, Steve, do you want to get the information, sort of stuff to put on the website then?
Yeah, I'm glad to do that.
Okay.
I'll go to the website and just kind of do some, I'll probably just download it, maybe do some markup or additions, and then Carly, would that go back to you?
Sure. Yep. I can
Okay.
definitely implement that then.
That's great. And then Michael, is there a board meeting that you could bring that up, or what is it? Like an agenda item, or is it what is it, continuing resolution, or?
Yeah, I'll talk to Bobby and or I probably even still have the policy from last year that I
Yeah.
altered, and I can just alter that. And do you guys want it coming back here to the committee, or do you just want me to take it directly to a village board meeting?
I don't personally see a reason for it to come back to this committee.
No, I
Well,
don't think so.
and that's why I wrote it, discussion and possible action on Novo May. We could actually just make a motion that the committee wants to support Novo May for May of 2025 and just go bang, bang, and we have approved it so that the committee's approved it. That's why I put that on there. So I will make a motion that the sustainability committee would like to implement a resolution to suspend section, whatever that section was,
Mm-hmm.
what was it, 2408, for limiting the height of lawns and grasses until June 1st of 2025.
Steve, do you want to second this? It seems like
Mm-hmm.
it should come from you.
Well, do you want me to
Yeah,
rescind my motion?
I
So
will at
you
least
can-
section it or second it for sure. If you need me to repeat it, I can. Although I guess at this point we now have to not vote on it to redo it, right?
We
But
will.
I'm fine with that going this route. I just don't have it right in front of me here to
I can read
reference.
it.
What are you concerned about, Steve?
Oh, nothing. If I'm going to repeat it though, I need to see the policy up on the screen there. We had it up earlier, I think.
No, we don't.
Or I can find it in the agenda.
Mm-mm.
No, I didn't put the policy in the agenda, I just said to create a resolution. It's not in there, but we can.
No, he just made it up as he
Yeah, I
went.
just made it up.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. Gotcha.
But I wrote it down word for word if you need me to repeat it.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
Should I
go
do it?
ahead.
Okay, yeah, it would be a motion that the Sustainability Committee would like to implement a resolution to suspend section 24.08 for limiting the height of grasses until June 1, 2025.
Beautiful.
And, and I'll just use the same resolution that I used last year. I mean, I could go find the village board meeting that it was in, but it's something that's like, whereas not cutting grass helps bees, whereas, then it's like something like that. There's a bunch of words like that in there. Or do you want
We
me
have to have
wait?
at least three whereases in there.
Well, that's,
Well, that's a resolution.
well, yeah.
Mhm.
Because I think last year, I don't even think that the resolution came to this committee, or we just kind of agreed to it, and then we didn't have
Yeah.
a meeting. And I just took it directly to the village board, and we didn't even vote on it because we our meeting structure was set up that, and we moved the May village board meeting in front of our May meeting because it was Memorial Day, so I had to just push it up is what happened. So we didn't even vote on anything last year. So that's why it's kind of off the cuff this right now.
We still need a second.
No, Steve seconded it. Did you second it, Steve?
Let's stick with my second. I second it.
excellent.
By golly.
Okay. So is there any other discussion or are people concerned about what we're doing? Which is just the memo made resolution. Okay, hearing no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Okay, I'll get that policy written and we'll get it to the village board. This is probably the first it's ever been done, but
Nice.
we gotta take it care of.
It's not even the
Woohoo.
new.
Yeah. What do you know? Okay, so then you'll work with Carly on the website stuff now, Steve.
Yep, I got it.
Perfect.
Sounds great. Okay, is there any other discussion on this topic at all? Anybody have anything?
No.
All right.
I don't think so.
So now this is just so we don't lose sight of it. This is the Focus on Energy grant money. I just put it on because we were gonna brainstorm on possibly what we wanted to do with this. So brainstorming commence. And did we have any results or ideas? Okay, so we'll think about it for the next meeting then.
Sorry. I
No, it's-
still think that it would be great if we need to pay, a consultant or somebody to help with writing a grant, but I don't have any specific ideas. So that's all I got.
No, I definitely hear you. It's definitely what do we want to do with it? Where do we want to spend it? I mean, I don't know, I mean, one thing that we I don't know, we could, if I was just talking with Carly before, I was asking her questions about the new village hall, and I mean. Yeah, I mean. The idea, I mean, we could give it to the village for the solar panels that they put on village hall. I mean, that seems like a
Right.
really easy one, but very non-specific or not. Doesn't seem like, we'll get some benefit, but we might be able to, like what you're saying, like we get a grant writer to write a grant. Well, what do we want them to write a grant to do? Like, what is our end result of that? Like, what do we want to influence with that grant money? I mean, are we gonna? I mean, I don't know, I was going through some old stuff, and there was a picture of, we want to try to get solar panels on the public facilities. I mean, I was looking, I'm not sure that roof is flat, I'm not sure how much weight it could take, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
How much longer that building will be
Right, exactly.
serving that purpose.
So, or, it could even be, Okay, well, this was one, you know, as I was going through the, maybe as I was going through the village bills, there's a, next to the public facilities building, there's some storage units or it's internal. And it sounds like in the winter, you know, they run baseboard heat, and I think we talked about possibly using the money to get a heat pump over there that would be cheaper, that would be electric. That'd probably heat that area where I don't know if they store chemicals or not. I mean, I don't know if that's what we would want to do, or we could get other focus on energy money and we use this grant to help pay for something like that. Like, is that what we're wanting to use the money for? Or are we looking to use it for bigger things? Like get a grant that gives us $500,000 to, you know, put the solar around the library with all its disjointed panel placement. I mean, I'm just trying to get ideas.
I'm still more in favor, with what Melissa mentioned too, to have that grant writer, whoever, sort of on retainer, for when things, because what's happening is things are coming so fast, or we have a short deadline. It's like, well, that would have been a good one, and now it's gone. Nobody has time to do it. Um, I'm a, I will have to say I'm opposed to using the money to go and fix things in the village that the village should be fixing themselves.
Okay, well, that's what I'm curious about. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's where I don't know, like where we want to use the money. I mean, like you say, okay, for the bill, or, okay, so it would be, but then when we pull it out from there, like, what is the alternative then? Like, when you say these things, their deadlines come up short, have a concrete idea of what that is. What is
Yeah, and
that?
I know we would hear periodically, and maybe Carly is starting to see some of this in her new role too, where Brian would either, and I don't know what listservs and various things that administrators are on, but Brian seemed to be coming up with, hey, here, at least 4 of these a year we would hear about.
Mhm.
And
Sure.
um, even if I don't think we have to pay someone until we use them, obviously. And Melissa, you probably know what kind of folks do that work.
Mhm.
And even if we can have an initial conversation with them to say, we have X dollars, we're sort of waiting in the winds for an opportunity. Um, and maybe we need to be more proactive about looking for that too. But I still like that approach. I have no idea how much they cost, per hour. Does $1,000 get
I
us,
could do some research.
one application?
I have a friend who is now a grant writer. He used to be the transportation coordinator in Sun Prairie. So he brought like Metro Transit to Sun Prairie. And so I know he's working for an organization that does the grant writing. So I mean, I could just like check to see
Like
how much things,
he's
yeah,
getting
That'd be
money.
great.
right. He's doing a lot of big projects like DOT, a lot of federal projects, but yeah, I'll bend his ear a little bit and see what we can find.
And Carly, I also put you in touch with Reamp staff through that intake form that I sent you last week, I think.
Yeah, I filled that out. Mhm.
Amazing. Okay. And so that my Reamp, my organization, we've got two folks who are full-time and their job is federal navigators, is to help Midwestern communities like identify and access federal funding with a particular focus on kind of rural communities and communities that are under 10,000. And so
Perfect.
I have elevated Cross Plains as an opportunity for them to seek, to provide some support. And so Carly, you should be finding, you should be getting some communication from them if you haven't already, sometime very
Okay.
soon, because that's their full-time gig.
Perfect. Yeah, and I've been finding more and more resources, like the League of Wisconsin Municipalities has a grant finder resource that they put membership dollars into. So but again, it's the grant opportunities and not the person
Right.
writing grants. Because
Right.
I had a conversation with the department heads today about grants and just kind of how it's gone historically. And it's each department kind of for their own,
Right.
writing their own grants. Oh, and it sounded like department heads writing their own grants just because we just don't have the capacity with our staff,
Mhm.
but mighty staff.
Yeah, yep, yep. That's the story across the Midwest for sure. Yeah. And so there are organizations and there are entities that are trying to help meet that need. And REAMP does have a grant writer on retainer for organizations and communities. And so that might be something that they can connect you with once they're, our grant writer, our federal navigator team is creating a cohort of, I think they're looking for 10 to 12 organizations and communities to work with. And then, so if Cross Plains doesn't make it into this cohort, like the idea is that they will try to help everybody who reaches out to them. So stay tuned. But that, like the idea there is to help figure out what are the projects and that are most needed, and then match them up with federal funding opportunities. And then to like try to stay out ahead of it. Like you were saying, Steve, the problem is they're coming so fast and furiously, and then the deadline passes. So the idea is just to try to help communities stay up to date on what the upcoming opportunities might be so you can be ready. And whether it's REAMP that's helping to pay for some of that support to write the grants, or it's, we use that 1,000 to help pay for a grant writer. I think there's a real big rush to try to get these IRA funds out the door right now, in the next couple of months.
I was
So,
going to ask that
yeah,
also. I
yeah,
was going to say they were coming fast and furious.
yeah,
We'll see.
yeah.
There. End of not useful comment.
Say no more. Michael, does it feel okay for now to say, we haven't identified a specific project or a specific person, but that at least Steve and I are in favor of holding out to pay for somebody's time to help with applying for a grant when we've identified the right opportunity?
Yeah, that's fine with me. We just need to figure out what the opportunity is. That's
Yeah.
where I simply
Yeah.
sort of like, I just sort of look at obvious small things that, which, heat pump or where can we save money or become more energy efficient, use this money that way, unless we can hit a grand slam with the grant writer and turn this $1,000 into $500,000. I mean, that's awesome, I mean.
Yeah,
So,
and I think my guess is our biggest opportunity is with the new village hall and police station, since that's going to be a project that, can be clearly articulated in a grant proposal. And I think that a grant writer could help us win funds to make that as sustainable as possible.
okay. That would be awesome. Does the architect know of this stuff? The architect, have
Like
we
the
talked
grant
about-
stuff?
Have we talked about this stuff at all?
Not really. I mean, they're the architect, so they're more concerned about the floor plan and the building itself. I mean, they'll definitely, if we want solar panels, they'll definitely work with any vendor that we would, provide them with. And that's kind of the same with, like, if we wanted a specific furniture vendor or something like that.
But they aren't like,
They don't have someone on staff that
but
does
then
panels.
you can get all this money back, like these are the grants you should apply for or anything like that. They don't,
No,
like-
they're, yeah,
Well, that's
the private sector, a
Well, yeah,
little different.
If they work in that area, they're building things and, it seems like you would know possible things that would be, but maybe they
Yeah,
don't.
I mean,
don't know.
we had a conversation once about lead certification and it did not seem like they were very knowledgeable.
Oh, really?
So that's what made me feel that they
Okay.
may not be super helpful in the sustainability realm,
Oh, I got you.
unfortunately.
Right.
But like I said, they would work with anyone that we brought to them,
Mhm.
but I don't know that they would actively say,
That-
hey, here's somebody for geothermal, here's somebody for this.
Right, and these
kind
are
of
the
thing.
grants that you would
Yeah,
be able to,
I think we're a little more on our own for that.
right. Okay, yeah, so, well, this topic will. So with that being said, I was speaking with Carly earlier about some of the, like Melissa or Elizabeth and I decided not to pursue solar on the library, but we decided that putting solar on the village hall would be a good thing. So I was asking her about the village hall and where that process is and when it's gonna be brought to the board or public input for things like, are you putting solar on it, or is your heating gonna be geothermal? And she said that those ideas, you know, the board might be January, public input February, or some combination thereof, which is where, you know, I don't know, see, right now, I don't know how sustainable the building is going to be or how sustainable it's being designed, and that's sort of just something I just kind of had in the back of my head, a little concerned with, just in terms of, speaking with Brian Mooney once, like he was talking about, you know, whether or not with the police cars, they're gonna be able to have things down in the basement, so in 10 years when they go to battery powered cars, that there's chargers in there. And whether or not that was being incorporated into this design, since we're doing it, and not gonna be an afterthought where you have to chisel through concrete or do whatever. What was also, oh wait, my microphone was on, sorry about that, could you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I just turned it on.
No, we're fine.
So along those lines, because I go out and read the Middleton sustainability stuff, they are in the process of installing a lithium battery pack, I think, in one of their police departments or in a police department, so that they can use it to charge during the day, and it can be used to charge vehicles at night. And one of the interesting things when I was reading that was it talked about, I believe it was the building inspector said something about you have to make sure that your sprinkler system is certified enough to be able to put out a lithium battery fire, which is a very interesting thing when I read that. So I was like, wow, that might be something we might want to make sure our new village hall has inside of our police garage so that we have to overhaul the sprinkler system. So it's just sort of like these sort of ideas that might not be thought. I don't know.
Yeah.
But these are like, you know, like if you're gonna start doing batteries and sustainability ideas like that, we're gonna start on-site storage, and these are other things that have to be concerned. So, yeah, so this building might be a great place for grant writing for things of that nature. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. I think that's the right play. That's the right project.
And even just to go further, there was even something, a packet which just came out from the Dane County Office of Sustainability that was talking about electric chargers, like charging stations, and they just got like, somebody got like $15 million to put a bunch of EV charging stations, I believe in Dane County or areas, and I was like, wow, I wonder if we could apply for that money to get one of those at our village hall.
Yeah, I love that.
There's probably something, some grant somewhere.
Right, so these are just sort of like ideas as I was reading these other packets last week in preparation for this meeting, just trying to like come up with ideas, but I don't know, you know, that's as far as I went with it. But
That's good. I think we kind of know where we want to head and where we don't want to head. Too, and we got some folks that will do a little more background on that. So I think we kind of stay that path for now.
right. Okay. Well, that's great. Okay, I just wanted to, I'm just gonna keep this on the agenda so we don't forget about it.
Seems
Fair.
Okay.
All right,
so
general
now-
business. It looks like we go from 2 to 5 or 5 to 6.
Yeah, oops. Sorry about the numbering, everyone.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay, committee membership. What do we know?
Committee membership and transition to public works staffing the committee. Okay, which one do you want me to start with?
Let's start
Let's
with, yeah, committee membership.
Okay, committee membership. Okay, so John has left the village. And so we need a member to replace him. And Aaron Lyons has been MIA for quite some time, so we might also want to consider a replacement for him. So with that being said, we had spoken about Mr. Andy Hartman last time, and do you think he's still a possibility?
Yeah, I do. I think he's just waiting to to hear from us, but yeah, I do.
Okay, does anybody know of number 2 committee member?
I think you might have mentioned Jen Weinkerl too.
I
Also, is
did.
that your other candidate?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, it was Jim, I couldn't remember who it was.
She's the one who was swimming with you. You said she was the only one who was doing like lap swim in the summer.
Yeah, no, I definitely know who she
Oh,
is.
okay.
When I was writing this agenda item, I was like, Andy Hartman, but Jen didn't come into my head, but yeah, definitely. Oh, no, I definitely, no, she's like running the farmer's market and stuff.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
It would be great. So we've reached out to Andy. Has anyone reached out to Jen at all or no?
I had a very like high level exchange and she wanted to know more, but I didn't have a follow-up conversation with her because it was actually just like a day or two before I left for Slovenia, and then I didn't follow up with her over the summer. But she was open to learning more. And maybe Michael as chair, I mean I don't know if you have a better relationship or as chair if you'd prefer to reach out, but I'm trying to it's been a little while, so I don't even know if I can find the text exchange, but I'll look for it. But what I recall is that she was open to it.
Um,
If those two or one doesn't pan out, um, is there any way we could retrieve in your vast memories back when we had our initial public forum and there was a woman who attended, I think virtually, who was so interesting and really engaged in
Mm,
sustainable practice. I don't know if she had chickens or not yet, but was talking about
mhm.
those. Um, I just cannot remember. I think she was a Jennifer or a Jessica, if I'm just
Mm,
fishing around in the, but
yeah.
but I can't
Yeah.
remember how we got her, if she's just aware and she saw this and attended. But she had such good ideas and like I'm like, this is a total engaged citizen right here.
Yeah. Gosh, I
yeah,
think I
I
remember
know.
promising you that I would ask Chris because his memory might be better. She was involved with Cub Scouts and she was a den leader, so he worked with
That's
her
right.
that
Okay.
way. And but I can't recall her name right now.
Yeah,
But
I don't
that's a
remember.
good reminder, Steve. And I don't even know, like I don't think we took attendance for that, the one person who showed up.
I don't think I don't think we did for our public forum.
That was just during
Carly,
COVID.
we didn't have a big launch for this committee. We sort of we started with a whisper.
Gotcha.
We had the forum though.
Also, I know one of my neighbors he used to be a village board member a long time ago. I think he's retired. He kind of expressed interest in joining a committee. I know he had emailed Jay before, and I think Jay kind of never got back to him, but he could also possibly be a member. I kind of spoke to him about, he's like, yeah, I could do some sustainability stuff. So he's also, I haven't spoken to him in a while. I can just reach out to him again and see if he's still interested. This is
Who was that, Michael?
it's, oh, who is it? Oh, oh, his name's blanking on me. This lives like 2 houses down. What's his name?
Oh, that's no problem. I do the same thing all the
Oh my
time
gosh, yeah.
with my own family members. You
It's,
know, the middle one.
I know who it is. It's Jack Buggy.
Huh.
And Jack, because he was on the board like in the, I want to say early 2000s.
Huh. Well, do you want me to reach out to Jen Wancurl or do you want to? How should we proceed?
It doesn't matter to me. I'm not sure I have a contact for her. I might have her email because she was on a committee that I was on a long time ago. But that's a maybe. See, I don't know if I think those emails used to be sent out by Becky here, and I could probably get her email from Becky.
I've got it. I can, if you want, I can just make a connection and hand it off to you, Michael. I can send an email and say that we're looking for another couple of members for our sustainability committee and that you're chair. And then you can
Yeah,
just pick it up from there. Does that sound okay?
that's fine, yeah, just send me that or send it to her and then whatever, but yeah, well, I'll just answer questions or be like, what's going on, what's the committee doing, and just,
Okay,
definitely.
great.
Yeah, we could do that, I mean, it's just all, just ask questions and see who says yes the quickest, I guess. Or whatnot, so now with the. So Aaron Lyons is still an official member of this committee, but John definitely isn't, so this means. Then. I have to inform Jay that we're down a member, and in doing so, I'm gonna tell him that we request Andy Hartman to come on, and we're gonna see like. What happens with that happening.
Yep, that
Yep.
sounds
He
great
might
to
be
me.
like- He might be like, no, I don't want Andy anywhere near any committees. And then the appointment then has to, I mean, I don't know what he's gonna say, you know, I mean, I don't. Cause Andy told him once he wanted to be in the committee and he didn't appoint him for some reason.
Ah,
Yeah, I think that when Andy left, he wanted to get on this committee when he stepped down as a board member, and I think, yeah,
mm,
and I don't think,
mm-hmm.
I don't know, so.
Well, I
Um,
have, just speaking from Steve's point of view, have been very impressed with Andy over the years, particularly as his the voice on the village board as a trustee, and I think he's extremely effective. So if um, Jay does not want an effective, engaged member for some reason, that would also be good to know why that would be. I don't want to put you in a spot of having to, have Jay rationalize them or, whatever, but it would seem odd when you have somebody that's very engaged and with a proven track record,
Yeah.
that you wouldn't
Mhm.
pull them
definitely, I
on.
mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
and it seems like the timing is because we don't know about Jen's interest, but we do know about Andy. That
right,
the
that's,
request is Andy to sub out for John, and then we, have another conversation about the committee member whose name I'm actually blanking on because he hasn't been um yeah, Aaron.
Aaron, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah, okay, so I'm gonna basically, yeah, I'm gonna tell Jay that we're not a member and, we would like Andy to be appointed to the committee, and we're gonna see what
Yep.
happens.
Yep.
Whatever happens, whoever he appoints is going to go to a vote at the village board, and you deal with whatever name is on the sheet at the village board meeting, is what's gonna happen, that is really the best way to describe it.
Okay,
Okay,
that
does
that
that
sounds
sound
good. How
good?
about part B of this item?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm curious
transition,
about this.
yes. So I don't know, it was the last village board meeting, the ordinance for the sustainability committee was actually changed, and the director of public works is going to be the staff member assigned to our committee rather than the village administrator. So that means this is most likely going to be Carly's possible last meeting or second to last meeting, if we have a December meeting.
Mhm.
She will be here, but I think that she will be, but at the exact same time, it is known that Jerry is going to be retiring in mid-March. So there's going to be a new public facilities director coming. So there's a lot of things changing, and I was just kind of like, back in my head, I'm like, why don't we just wait till the new public facilities director is online before we make this ordinance
Yeah.
change? But
Right.
whatever, I don't know, it didn't, nobody seemed to, I didn't even bring it up at the village board meeting, I was like, do what you wanna do, but this just sort of seems like. Common sense thing to do, but it's always John's list of things to do, and it didn't matter when it happened, so I don't have any idea.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's distressing to me, and I don't know because I we need somebody who can help us navigate questions around sustainability, and I'm not I'm just naming that that's I don't know that he'll be the advocate and the resource that we need.
Yeah, I don't
So,
think you can be an effective staff member.
yeah,
Now, the
right.
new director of public works might be a fantastic resource. I mean, we don't know what their background or knowledge is going to be, but, you know, clearly Carly knows people who work in the field, is interested in it, but. So it's just what
And
happens.
hopefully that will be one of the criteria for the new hire, if this is going to be part of their bailiwick, that
Right.
they actually know what
Mhm.
sustainability is and is willing to advocate
Right.
for
Right.
it.
That's a good point. I'm working on job descriptions, so.
Yeah, that would be,
Perfect.
so,
Excellent.
so that's that's what's going on with that.
And then Michael, not to just to back up one sec. So this just
Sure.
like came out of thin air, or
Yeah.
what was the impetus for this? Or do you
The
recall, or was there discussion?
the impetus was the previous administrator, Brian Mooney, being like, oh, I have to be at village board meeting. I mean, I'm not trying to sound like this is just what he said. I'm at village board meetings, and then I have to be at plan commission meetings, and then I have to be at sustainability meetings, and they're all in different weeks. And so I'm at these meetings, it's difficult to plan vacations because I have 3 meetings that I'm attending, and it's affecting my work-life balance, something along those lines.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's very helpful, actually.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to
And-
look at the sort of
and-
the
Spread the load.
yeah.
Right, exactly. And
Right,
that's
because
the-
there is no public works committee,
Okay.
Right.
so he does not have any
Maybe
meetings.
that he's like in charge of or representing,
Right.
which is, I don't know, a whole entire different subject, which in my opinion, hopefully with the transition to a new director of public works, we actually create a public facilities committee. And one is created, and because they run a pretty big budget and policies that they make, then actually like, it's a functioning committee then.
Right. And I think that was also part of Jay's reasoning too, was that they know all of the buildings
Right.
well for the village and, you know, may have insight as to what sustainable initiatives could be implemented, things like that.
Yeah, things like, you know, dealing with wastewater, dealing with storm runoff, dealing with flooding. They work with the
Yeah.
engineering company with sort of some of the other rationale along those lines. So you know, whether, I don't know if our public facilities department is inefficient in energy use or efficient energy use or et cetera, or how that's gonna all play out. I don't know. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
But I
Okay.
plan to stick on for a while, probably to sit through definitely with Jerry as he learns to run a meeting and things like that.
Yeah,
So
it's like.
I'll be around.
Just saying learns to run a meeting, I feel like Jerry's never ran a Zoom meeting before.
It's true.
Jeez.
It's a true statement.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's again, like where I was like common sense wise, I'm like, why are you putting someone in charge of the committee where we run our meetings on Zoom and he's gonna run maybe 2 meetings and it's just could be
Yeah.
very not working. You know,
Right.
like he's leaving, why do
Right.
this now? It's just like,
We'll figure it out.
yeah.
I'll be there with at least for his first one.
So
Probably
Carly-
his 2 or 3.
So Carly's gonna be hanging on for a while, but things are still good.
So we're gonna pay for Carly and
And Jerry to
and
attend.
Jerry
Mhm.
to join the meetings. Oh, Carly, I'm sorry.
No, it's all fine. We're salaried employees.
See, that's the whole thing.
No, it's all good. We'll figure it out. No worries.
Okay, so let's get going here. You're gonna have to go here. Is there any other questions concerning that?
No,
All right.
thanks for the
So now,
update.
Nope.
okay, so if all else fails, ordinance can get changed back and the administrator is gonna be our staff member again. We just need to, you know, just ask for it is what happens.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this is the Middleton Crosspoint Area School District Sustainability Group. Melissa, are you engaged with this group? I had gotten that email, Carly had sent it to me. I believe that you had, she also
Yep.
sent it to you, asking for
Yeah,
people.
I volunteered to serve in that position of kind of representing Cross Plains in the Middleton Cross Plains Area School District Sustainability Committee. So they they had a first meeting in November, and that meeting did not work for me, but future meetings should work, and they meet monthly. So I have not yet been to a meeting, but yes, I am kind of officially in that position.
Okay, sounds great. So you will keep us up to date
Yep.
on what they're doing or their ideas and et cetera and all that?
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully it's a more productive group. So I was on this committee about 3 years ago and it just sort of petered out. It was led by somebody at the district who's not doing it now. And they were having monthly calls and trying to engage kind of all parts of the school district, like waste and buildings and students and all kinds of things. So I'll keep you apprised. Hopefully it's a more productive committee this time around.
Sounds great. Okay, I just wanted to verify that you said you'd do that or whatever, et cetera, because they kind of reached out. It'd be good to have somebody there. Thank you very much, Melissa.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, our next thing is discussion on sustainability plan being incorporated into the village's comprehensive plan. Right now, the plan commission is going through and doing broad overview changes to the comprehensive plan to bring it up to date, just looking at things that are way out of whack, numbers that don't make sense, ideas that have sense are no longer ordinances or new ideas that are being, they're just kind of doing it up on a large scale. And the other night I was attending one of their meetings and I believe they started talking about the incorporation of solar panels on village buildings or something along that line. And then that went to, oh, should we have a sustainability section inside of the comprehensive plan? So it came from them and I was there at the meeting.
I was too.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, and so then Kevin was like, well, I can get in touch with Melissa, she's the chair of that committee, and I was like, well, no, I'm actually now the chair of the committee, and there, I was like, I'm here, so we can start putting something together if you want. So they were kind of like, okay, so I have no idea what it was, that was kind of really all of the idea that it was, or getting some of the pieces of the plan into the comprehensive plan, so that then they're part of the comprehensive plan. We just have to figure out what that is and what that looks like. Right?
I think they said just copy the thing that we already have and put it in.
Yeah, they were pretty much just like, we could just take the bullet points from the plan and just be like, this is the sustainability plan, bang, 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 bang. So, but then they were like, we could take that plan and the things that we've done, we obviously don't need to put into the comprehensive plan. I mean, this was just, this doesn't have to be done tomorrow.
No, because we're just the plan commission is just recommending changes.
Right.
But we haven't actually officially started making the changes.
Right.
So I think we have some time.
This is a really exciting topic, and I think that could have, I think that has the potential to help us accelerate progress, or at least really, because right now our sustainability plan doesn't have any teeth, but having it in a comprehensive plan just gives us that much more undergirding. I think it's a really exciting idea. And Kevin had offered to go through the comprehensive plan like a couple of years ago when he was on the committee and to try to figure out how to bring components in. So I'm so glad to hear that he is still kind of helping to bring that along. And I think that could be like a good part of our next meeting. And I'm so sorry, everybody, but I'm going to have to jump. And when I do, I don't know what that does to quorum. So is there anything that we should touch base on?
I just wanted to, that seems like a big enough topic. Do we need a little more time on next month's agenda or the next meeting agenda to talk about that? Maybe have that be item one, because that does, and just make sure we have a plan for that. Because you're right, Melissa, it's going to be an important one, and I'm not going to take your time. I know you got to go, and it looks like the rest of the items are big enough too that this might be a good place to wrap up. What are people's thoughts?
Yeah, it's fine. If Melissa's going, we can't continue to have the meeting, so.
Oh, dang, sorry.
Dang.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Melissa. No, I don't worry.
That's
That's
just,
all good.
that's
I had
just
enough
what
on my plate too.
So, with that being said, though, do we want to have a December meeting? It would be December 11th would be our normal meeting, or what do we
Oh,
want to do?
shoot.
Like, you think-
I will be traveling. It is my last work trip of the year, but unfortunately, I will be in Des Moines. So I'm glad that you flagged that. Could we consider a different
Go with the
Wednesday?
18th.
I wouldn't suggest going the 18th, although I guess we could.
Were you thinking something else in that week? Or are you traveling the whole week, Melissa?
Yeah, I leave on Monday. I'll come back on Thursday.
17th, 18th in there. We wouldn't want to we don't want to go the next week.
Right.
Um,
I could do the 18th. Would it work, Carly and Michael, to do the 18th?
I'm just checking my calendar to make sure we don't have any other meetings that day.
I mean,
And
either
Michael,
this,
ordinarily I might say, well, maybe we should cancel it, but the comprehensive plan does make me wonder if we shouldn't try to have a meeting so that we could help inform that.
Yeah,
well, definitely, like, I agree.
the
Yeah.
18th should work. Yep, I don't see any other
Okay.
meetings on the calendar.
yeah, then if I'm okay with that,
Okay.
why don't we plan to do that? And then, do we need a quick motion to adjourn?
Yeah, if Melissa's leaving, we should, I
Yep.
mean, or as soon as she leaves, we're just.
I motion to adjourn.
I'll second the
Okay.
motion.
All right.
The motion to adjourn is second. All those in favor say aye.
Hi,
Bye.
good night, everybody.
All right.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Well, we had a December